Welcome back. In the earlier lecture, we talked about a scenario that we want to implement using DLT in Databricks platform. So in this lecture, we will do some little preparation for implementing that scenario. So let's start, and it will make more sense once you see what preparation do we want to do. So let me go to my workspace, and I have prepared a notebook for the preparation work, set up objects and dataset for DLT. So as usual, we want to do some cleanup activity to prepare a clean environment. But for running this notebook, I need a cluster, and I don't have a running cluster. So let me go to my compute menu and create a cluster for running this notebook. So let's go to the create compute button and try to create a cluster. Usually you can do most of the things using a single node cluster. But for this scenario, for working with DLT, we will need a multi-node cluster. And that multi-node cluster should be started in the shared access mode. So basically, the result of the DLT goes into some tables, right? And to access those tables, as of now, Databricks has put up a restriction that you can access those tables only using a shared mode cluster, and we cannot start a single node cluster in shared mode. So we are forced to create a multi-node cluster in shared mode for working out this scenario. So let's create a multi-node cluster in shared access mode. We don't need photon acceleration. I don't need auto scaling. I want my cluster to terminate after 30 minutes of inactivity, and I don't need a huge cluster, 8 worker nodes. It's simple. One worker is more than enough. So one driver and one worker, that's the multi-node cluster we are going to create here in shared mode. So that's all. It's 1.5 dBu. Let's hit the create button and create a multi-node cluster for this requirement. So it might take few minutes to spin up the cluster for me. So I'll pause here and come back once my cluster is ready. So my cluster is now running. We have a cluster which is a multi-node cluster. Let me attach my notebook with the cluster and run the cleanup. And once that is done, let's run the setup code also. So basically what I want to do, I want to create a dev catalog, and in that catalog I want to create a database. Database name is DemoDB, and we will be creating our tables in the DemoDB database. So that's why I created a catalog and DemoDB. I also created an external location, and then using that external location, I am creating a landing zone volume. So basically this is my landing zone volume inside my DemoDB database. I create a landing zone volume, and we will assume that our data ingestion pipeline is ingesting data in this landing zone, so that our DLT pipeline, whatever scenario we discussed, we can start consuming data from this landing zone. So that's done. And before we start working on the DLT pipeline, I just want to prepare my landing zone directory. So in the landing zone directory, I want to create one customers directory. So let me run that as well. So we'll create a customers directory. Similarly, I want to create an invoices directory inside the landing zone. So all the invoices will land in the invoices directory. So I create an invoices directory also. And then before we start our first iteration of running the DLT pipeline, I want to make sure that there are some data already ingested in the landing zone directory. So what I'm doing, I'm just copying customer1.csv and invoices.csv, and similarly here invoice 2022.csv. So I'm copying some data files, ingested data files into the landing zone directory. So let's copy this file into customers landing zone. Similarly, one invoice data set into invoice landing zone. Let's do one more invoice data set into the invoice landing zone. So that is all preparation that we wanted to do. Now we are ready to create and run DLT pipeline for the scenario that we discussed in the earlier lecture. So we are all set with the customer data set and a couple of invoices data files. So data is there. All we need to do is to start building our scenario. And that's what we will do in the next lecture. I'll see you there. Again, keep learning and keep growing.